You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each week with your garden question. Just what are people talking about? And there are lots of questions coming in this peak of the season. Peak of spring, people flying in, people coming in with baggies of bugs, leaves, frost damage, thrip damage, all kinds of stuff happening. What's this plant? Phone. How many phones do you think you look at per day?
I don't even want to think about it. I really don't.
It's a lot. So we probably we spend more time waiting for people to find stuff on their phone than we do actually answering garden questions sometimes.
I get
not
it.
always.
I get it sometimes. But if you know you're coming in and you have a picture, maybe bookmark it or something.
Yeah. So this is about questions. So Lisa's here to kind of field some of your questions. And I had an Earth Day event in Prescott Valley.
Yeah.
We had like 120 kids out there.
Well, that's fun.
They were from first grade to eighth grade.
Wow.
So teenagers to first graders keep their attention. Look, squirrels. To teenagers, just try to get them to say something and everything in between. So I got them all engaged because I said, listen, if you can stump me, I can't answer one of your questions, garden questions, I'll give you a flower. So now all the seventh graders were totally engaged. Anyway, it was fun activity. Prescott Valley did a great job with their Earth Day event on Monday. So fun stuff.
Well, good. Glad you did that. But yeah, we do have questions. Our first one is from Mike. So he wants to grow a few tomatoes and peppers in containers. Wants to know what size container do you recommend?
Sure.
And also what soil, what additives, what's the best way to grow those guys in containers?
Yeah. This is super easy, Mike. This is super easy. Go at least 12 inches, maybe 14. And you want to be at least 12 inches deep because tomatoes like a lot of soil. They like deep soil. And so not a huge pot. I mean, if you had a whiskey barrel or something, you could probably grow 2 tomatoes, so one on each side. Put some radishes on the outskirts, so you have fun with it. Now, the soil is the tricky part. So soil is everything. So if you can match the exact soil those plants are grown in and add more soil into a container and just plant that plant into more of what it knows, guaranteed success every time. Robust harvest. I mean, we're talking tomatoes. You better be ready because they're going to be growing like mad. So now what is that? And so for us, we call it Waters potting soil because that's our growers mix. We developed that 2 decades ago. So we tweak it every once in a while. It's a recipe that you tweak like a cookie recipe. We're tweaking that and we're trying to figure out, okay, is there anything that grows better? And we'll put it side by side and test different kinds of soils. We'll put marigolds or tomatoes in the same different kinds of soils and see which one grows best. Nothing grows better than Waters potting soil, especially edible things. Not edible. You can't say edible anymore, can you?
What would you say?
Well, actually, you could grow edible stuff. You can grow pot in Waters potting soil. It'd be great. So it's a 5-5-5 organic fertilizer, lots of peat moss and perlite, and there's a recipe to it. And so just fill your pot up with that and plant your plant. That's it. Now, if you've got old soil left over, you want some freshness. So plants use up the soil. It loses its vitality just because it looks like it's rich there. It's actually sucked all the good stuff out of the soil. So you want to introduce new potting soil in containers every year. So if it's a really big container, I'll try to dig out that old root from last year and try to get a big ball and just get some extra soil out of there so I can introduce some fresh potting soil. I may not replace all of it every year, but I'll replace a good chunk of it so I can introduce new potting soil every year. That's why one year you go, wow, it did so great. And this next year it didn't do so good. What did I do wrong? It's the soil. The soil is everything. Now, when you go over to Depot and Lowe's and the box stores and the marts and you're going to see a wall of confusion. There's so many kinds of soil. They got rose soil and container soil and pot soil and filled bed soil. And it's crazy. You really want a good potting soil it's made for pots. to fill up, and that's a grower's mix. Or if you can find the grower, find out who grew it, and then ask them if they've got some extra soil. Of course, that's all we have here. So that's what we sell. But water's potting soil, fill it up. Now, the other thing you'll get confused. You'll do your homework, go do that internet search, and you will be dumbfounded by the advice. Don't go to TikTok or Reels or some of these others, or they'll just confuse you. Fill up the bottom with Coke cans or water bottles or all kinds of stuff. Don't do any of that. The more soil you have in there, the better, the more robust, the easier it is to keep that plant watered in the heat of summer. The soil is like a big sponge. It holds the nutrients and the moisture, and you want as much of it as possible. And but the roots don't go down that deep, but the water does, and the plant will actually wick that water back up to its roots. Water can go up against gravity if that plant wants it. It's like a straw, it just sucks it right up to the top. So I'd say don't put styrofoam peanuts. That's just environmentally wrong in so many ways. Don't put Coke cans and all these other mythical things they tell you to do. Just put soil from the top, about an inch from the top, all the way down, plant your tomato and watch them grow. There you go.
Any other additives, gypsum, yada, yada?
For potting, for a container, no. In the ground, yes. Now, is there a fertilizer you could use? So if you're using flower power every couple of weeks with potting soil, you're going to have tomatoes the size of your fist. They're going to go crazy. So we could talk fertilizers later. Again, our potting soil, if you're doing ours, Mike, I assume you are because you're asking us the questions. It's got you covered for about the first 3-4 weeks because we put a natural organic fertilizer in the soil because we're trying to stabilize it. But then the plants will run out. They'll use it. And then they're going, oh, it's growing so fast. Now what's going on? Hit it with flower power, man. It will take off. I mean, just like that day, it'll start taking off again.
Okay. I think we covered that one.
Yeah, too much. That was this weekend's article too. So,
well, we have another one that's kind of related, but not. So Ellen was in. She saw a bunch of our beautiful rose trees that we just got in, and they are spectacular. She wants to know, will they grow in a pot? And if so, do you have to do anything special in the winter with them?
That's actually a great question. So yes, they grow great in a container. I'd say bigger than a tomato-sized pot. So you're probably 14, 16 inch. So you're bigger round because rose bushes are big. They just get large, especially a tree. So I would say at least 14 to 16 inch. Bigger is better. And then plant your plant. That's beautiful. What you see on all the magazines, a tree rose in the middle of a pot with a alyssum around the outer edges, underplanting of flowers overflowing that container is spectacular. You can do that. Now, how do you water it? Well, when it's June and it's 95, probably every day or every other day, you're going to water that thing. In the winter, specifically, she asked, what do I do in the winter? Keep it watered. Don't let the plant go dry as long as the plant is moist. So an insider tip, just like this is Ken and Lisa, we're just your friends, neighbors. We're just working for us. We have over 50 pots. And so if we hear a real cold snap's coming, oh my gosh, it's going to be brutal. Everyone runs to the grocery store. They empty the shelves because we might be stuck inside for 36 hours. So just a day and a half. Water those plants before that cold event comes because a hydrated plants have antifreeze in the structure of them naturally. And if you keep those moist, they'll just naturally take care of themselves. There's not a lot to it. And so it's that easy, really. It's actually easier to grow in a container than it is in the ground.
Yeah,
sometimes you don't have to dig a hole. The soil is perfect. It drains perfectly. It's great stuff. So the roses are here at Waters Garden Center. We're kind of famous for our roses, tree roses, couple sizes, several hundreds of roses came in and more to come. So Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners, we're out of time.
Waters' companion plants in May are Vining Akebia, Indian Hawthorn, Prescott Sunshine Geraniums, and Purple Robe Locusts.
Incredible long clusters of purple flowers in May that look just like wisteria flowers hanging from this local bloomer.
The 8-inch fragrant flowers cover the tree profusely.
Super hardy and drought tolerant with a brisk growth rate of 2 feet in 1 year.
It's just the perfect backyard shade tree.
You'll find the shadiest trees here at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe to your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.